let's look at the end of Mishpat. Let's look at the end of Yisro. The fellow is reading in the Torah, and I'll give you some. Of course, it's the part where on Shabbos I have to mention where's the Beis HaMikdash in this week's parsha. So if you're studying Yisro, where's the Beis HaMikdash in Parshas Yisro? It's right at the end. God said, yeah. Says here, because it goes, yeah, there you go. See, someone's following. It's the Maftir. Okay, the Maftir reads. Here's how to build a mizbeach. By the way, Atem ri'ithem ki min hashamayim dibarti imachem. Okay, you've seen that I spoke to you from the heavens. Lo ta'asuni tilo echesav ve'leozahav. Don't make some idols. Fine. Don't do like Hashem. You've seen God's Pamalia Shamala, Malia. You've seen Pamalia Shalmala, right? You've seen God's heavenly entourage. Don't make images of them. And then it says, Mizbach Avama Ta'aseli Segolta. It means build an altar of earth for me. That's how you build the Mizbeach. That means God is, by the way, telling him, Moshe Rabbeinu understood this, not just Stam Im Mizbach Avanim, which means eventually you're going to do it. No, build an altar right now. And you see that's one mentioned at the end, Mishpatim, Vayishlach Narei B'nei Yisrael. Well, Mizbach Adama Ta'aseli. No, that's a pasuk achrei. HaPasuk Hasheni Omer V'Mizbach Avanim, and you have the whole Chazal saying, yeah, it's talking about eventually they'll have to build a Mizbach Avanim. But Moshe Rabbeinu understood this to mean Mizbach Adama Ta'aseli. It says at the end of Mishpatim that Moshe woke up in the morning and built the Mizbeach. It says here, Wayavo Moshe, okay, good. Wayachtob Moshe Kod Rein. Wayashkem Baboker, Wayiven Mizbeach Tachat Ahar. No, yeah, that's the Mizbach Adama. And Moshe Rabbeinu then used that Mizbeach. It says, Vayishlach et Narei B'nei Yisrael. So Moshe Rabbeinu understood this. My point is, it's a mitzvah regarding the Mizbeach. Chazal understood here that the Mizbeach should be Mechuber L'Karka. It should be, or if you build the Mizbeach that was in the Mishkan, which was made out of what? Wood and bronze. It was hollow wood and bronze. So where's the Adama? So Chazal say it was filled with earth everywhere they went. Yeah. No Mizbeach about Mishkan specifically. Just two rules that build a Mizbeach of earth, and Chazal understood that to mean whenever you build a Mizbeach, it should be connected to the ground or be filled with earth. And Mizbach Avanim Ta'aseli, that eventually you're going to build the Mizbeach of stone, and they can't be cut stones. So look at the point I'm trying to get over here. Zavachta alav es olasecha veshlamecha es tzonecha vesbikorecha esnach. What are you going to use this Mizbeach for? Korbanos. That's where you do it. And not Zavachta alav. It's not literally alav. It means next to. Next. There's a mitzvah over here. Mizbach avonim tasli lo sivne eshen gazis. Can't use cut stones. Why? Because you're not allowed to put iron against the stone. We saw those halachas. The next halacha, lo salev malos of mizbechi, and the reason. There's an extra piece of pasuk thrown in here that doesn't seem to make sense. Why? Because all these commandments involve how to technically build a mizbeach, make it connected to the ground, make it out of dirt. If you make it out of whole stones, don't cut the stones, and don't build steps up to it. Basically implying build a ramp. And that says, no, not really. We're going to get into that. We don't know if there was a heter bamis when the Mishkan was built. Okay, when the Mishkan stood in the desert, why was it mutter? You missed the shiurim last year. We discussed this for like 5 weeks. The Barn was a lately the YouTube. And Mishnah internet to Chalimso Sidra. No, it's a little bit more complicated than that, according to the Rambam. Much more complicated. But it's like the Yerushalmi. The Yerushalmi makes it very clear what the whole thing was about. So look in the Yerushalmi. Basically, if you study Yerushalmis, it'll be very clear, The B'machashachim Hoshivani, like the Rav likes to say. So you have here this mitzvah. It says here, B'chol makom asher azkiras shemi avoy lechu ve'rachticha. B'chol makom asher azkiras shemi avoy lechu ve'rachticha. Wherever I will allow you to say my name, I will come and bless you. Now, what is that talking about? No, I don't think it's a remez. We already talked about the Mizbeach. I was focusing on Mizbeach. Rashi focuses on the Medrashei Halacha. The Medrashei Halacha talk about the laws of Birkas Kohanim and how to say God's name. Specifically, you're not. Yeah, that's what I'm going to ask. What's the Kesher Mizbeach? So let's first understand the Medrashei Halacha and Rashi talk about specific halachas about how to say God's name. You can only say the 4-letter name or even discuss it in the Beis HaMikdash. And it says the Rambam Paskins, the Kohanim only used the 4-letter name for Birkas Kohanim, and the Kohen Gadol used it for Vidui. And even then, eventually, in Shimon HaTzaddik's time, the Kohanim stopped using it for Birkas Kohanim once he died. And after Shimon HaTzadik, the Kohanim Gedolim still continued saying Hashem's name, the real name, but they would drown it out on Yom Kippur. They won't let people hear it. So this is something technical. But so far, I don't see the connection. What do all these halachas involving the utterance of God's holy name have to do with all these technical halachas regarding the Mizbeach? The Netziv goes with the other halachas you can find. Go on. Yeah. Vayisa Yeah. Yeah, we have that pasuk. I wrote that pasuk right here. We're going to get to what the connection is. Let's not jump to the answer. The Netziv, who wrote the Ha'amek Daber, by the way, I think that's pronounced Ha'amek Daber because the Lashon Tzivui. It's in from Al Pi Yeshayahu. It's not Ha'amek Davar. Why? Ha'amek is a valley, like we call Amek. And ha'emek it's a hey hayidiyah, and davar is a matter, but that makes no sense in Hebrew. It's like aruch hashulchan. We know that on the pasuk it's aruch hashulchan with a kolam, and now it makes sense. Yeah, ha'amek. Yeah, ha'amek is lashon sivui, and daber is also lashon sivui. Ha'amek daber means if you're gonna say something. Yeah. So hold on, we got disconnected. Ha'amek daber means if you have something to say, make sure it's profound. That's what it means. Say something profound. Okay? It's I'll P that. It's the Ha'amek She'elah is from Yeshayahu. So it's borrowed term. He's using language similar to Yeshayahu, where it's Ha'amek and Sha'al are both Lashon Sivui. So Ha'amek Daber is the name of the Sefer, at least according to the way I understand it. Back to this. The Netziv goes with the Psukim brought by Avos and other places in Chazal, which talk about that you should have Makom Kavua for Tefillah, and whenever you have people studying Torah together, the Shekhinah's with them, right? That's in Pirkei Avos, they bring this pasuk over here. Yeah, and even one person has the divine presence. So Makom Kavua Tefillah like Yerushalmi Brachos. That's the way the Tzif runs with it. But either way, the connection between the Mizbeach specifically and this thing about God coming down and blessing everybody wherever they mention his name doesn't seem to be so ready. So in the Tanchuma Tanaso of all places, found the most appropriate name to answer this question is Rabbi Berechia Kohen. Well, the Tanaim, Rabbi Berechia Kohen. I think that's a very important name, very fitting name, because it's talking about how God blesses people. Berechia means God blessed, right? Rabbi Berechia Kohen, and he's a Kohen also, says that it's when God would reveal himself on the altar, then he would bless them. He connects it to the altar. Specifically, when God would reveal himself, his galus hashchina alam mizbeach, that's when God would bring the blessing to people. Look in Sefer Shmos. Right now, we're going to start very, very shortly the building of the Mishkan. Where does it say that God would bless the people for building the Mishkan? It says v'shachanti. Says v'shachanti b'tocham. Right? God will dwell in the Mishkan. V'noati l'chasham. Where does it say God will bring down his blessing through this Mishkan? It only says that Moshe Rabbeinu blessed them. I'll tell you why. Because really, the commandment is, like Rabbi Berechia is saying, men are the vessel of God's blessing. How does God bless the Jewish people every day? He commands the Kohanim to do it. The Kohanim have to do the bracha. Hashem should bless you. It has to be done through the Kohanim. So Moshe Rabbeinu was the one who blessed them. God didn't bless them for building the Mishkan. Moshe Rabbeinu was the one who had to bless them. And that's why it says also when they built the Mishkan, at the beginning of Parsha Shmini, was it say, Aharon did the whole thing. It says, Vayisa Aharon es Kaptav, right? You know, Yadav, the people, that's the pasuk, right? And Vayisa Aharon es Yadav Elam Vayvarachem, Vayered Me'asos Hachatas. Then he got down from his Mizbeach. It means apparently it's implying they did it when he was actually staying on the Mizbeach. And then it says Moshe Rabbeinu and Aaron went into Omoy and they came back out and they blessed the people again. And it says about Shlomo Melech what? Vayasev HaMelech es Panav, Vayivarech es Kol Kal Yisrael. When, yeah, at the time of bringing the Korbanos, the first time they brought Korbanos in the Beis HaMikdash, that's when Shlomo Melech turned around. Yeah. Vayivarech Otam Moshe in Parshas Pekudei. Right before Shishi. Yeah, when they brought all the pieces. It says Vayaviu es HaMishkan, Parshas Vayaviu, ends with Vayvarech Lusam Moshe. Here you can have it. No. I'll read you what it says here. It says, no, but once Aaron started, Moshe wasn't Kohen anymore. Here it says here, Vayavius HaMishkan, and all the different parts, and it ends with Vayvarech Lusam Moshe. So Moshe Rabbeinu blessed him. The point here that Tan is getting at is that, well, hold on, let's just say Rashi focused on the halachic aspect, Netzi focused on the Musar aspect. Rabbi Rechi HaKohen is connecting it contextual aspect. That when you have this avodas of the Mizbeach, when you do a Mizbeach right, that is when, like Rashi says, Azker Shvi, when someone says God's name, that's when God produces the blessing. Make sense? So this answers that piece of pasuk doesn't seem to fit otherwise without this. Like, what does that have to do with the Mishkan? The answer, the Mizbeach. The answer is when you finally build the Mizbeach, or when you complete the building of Mizbeach, it's appropriate that someone, the leader, bless the people. We saw Moshe, Aaron, and even Shlomo Melech did this. Shlomo Melech obviously didn't say Birkas Kohanim because he's not a Kohen. David HaMelech, we also have David HaMelech says. No, right. It says that he blessed Hashem. Okay? But here it says, I'll read you what it says here in Divrei Yomim. If I can find the pasuk, David HaMelech first brought the Aaron here. No, that's not connected to this. Let me find the pasuk over here. It's in Divrei Yomim. It says David HaMelech went home. It says he blessed. No, not that. That's who he blessed God. It's talking about bless the people. It does say. Yeah, it says here in Divrei Yomim. If I could find it, I wasn't expecting you to ask this question, so I didn't prepare it. But it's here. Or it's in Shmuel. What's so funny? Say for Shmuel. Wasn't expecting it, so you have to. So it says here. No, it doesn't say here. Okay, it says here that David HaMelech put the Aron in Yerushalayim, and then it says he taught the Levim to sing the Hodu LaHashem song every day as part of that service. And then we studied this parsha like a year and a half ago. Remember talking about Heter Bamis, that David HaMelech put Levim in charge of the Aron and the Bama that he built in front of the Aron in the tent. But at the Mishkan in Givon, he left the Kohanim in charge, the Bnei Tzadok. They're supposed to do like it says in Torah Moshe, because that you can't do the way you want. That's not a Bama. That has to be done exactly as the Torah says. And a Bama, you could do whatever you want, technically. You could have the Levim sing a song, and you have the Levim bring the Korbanos, and you could choose to be a Kohen one day. It does it. So it says here, we Maim Heiman Vidusun and Shar Burim Asher Nikvu B'Shemos. And you also put these other one in charge of Mitzotayim, Uchlei Shir Halim, Uvnei Tun Lashar. They were in charge of the gate. After that party, people left. Vayisov David levarechet beitho. David turned around, to bless his beito. In this case, means his whole family. Just like it says, Shlomo Melech turned around to bless Kol Kahal Yisrael. So David HaMelech at this thing doesn't mean literally turned around. Well, something I think it does actually, maybe. But the point is, when they finished this whole thing, David HaMelech came. Now it's time to give a bracha to everybody. Okay. It doesn't just why you sov David, okay? Just like Shlomo Melech, it says why you sov for Shlomo Melech, why you sov Melech as panav vayvarech as kol kal Yisrael. It means the point is that when Shlomo Melech finished what he was doing, bring the karbanos. So vayisov means the next thing he did. The next thing, it's like smichus, okay? The next thing he did. That's why it says vayisov. Well, I mean, he literally turned around? No, it means it's as though he just turned around. The very next thing he did was deliver a blessing. So too, when David HaMelech had arranged the place to bring the Aron and prepare, the Beis HaMikdash will be here soon. Now we finished this thing. The next thing he did was he blessed the people. That's why whenever you have in the Bible, Vayisov, it doesn't mean he literally turned around. It means the very next thing he did was that's what I mean, the very next thing. It's a figurative expression.
We would like to encourage our viewers to share these videos with friends and send in your responses. If you would like to obtain Birkon Nusach Eretz Yisrael or invite the rabbi for a speaking engagement, please email us at office@machonshilo.org.